Hey, beautiful people. Let's try this again. It is 1:50 p.m. on 2/12/2019. Last message or last video I started, I wasn't recording on for some reason, and then my telephone rang right in the middle of the recording, which I better shut off now. I'm not going to mess with it. If it rings again, I'll just let it pass until I'm done with this video. Anyway, I'm doing another Twin Flame video because of all the messages that I received after my last one, and boy, was the response amazing. A lot of private messages that, you know, unless I'm on my laptop, when I'm on my telephone, it's very difficult for me to deal with private messages for the simple fact that Hotmail's Messenger, which is now combined with Facebook, has been separated from it, and now it's a third-party thing, and it's too much trouble for me to deal with messages on my telephone. And so only if I am dealing with my laptop and I can type, because I can type as fast as I can talk, but I can't text on the telephone. I can't use that keypad like this laptop and answer detailed questioning without it taking me a very substantial amount of time. So I generally have not, for the past couple of years since I've been on my phone, I've been answering many messages, and I save them until I get to my laptop. Well, I got to my laptop, there was a good 20 messages of people saying, wow, thank you for all your videos on Twin Flames. And they were telling me that they're on similar journeys as I'm on, and there was a lot of statements, a lot of questions, a lot of, you know, all kinds of things that was in those messages that you know, I'll see if I can channel it out here and let it flow. And right now I'm working between that Bill Ballard stage, that Michael stage, that I'm just all over the place today. So it's just one of those days. So bear with me. Oh, wow. The Twin Flame, you know, those of us that told the story of the end times, good old Knudsen's black cherry juice and some Lakewood pure pineapple, man, that's a great combination. You know, those of us that were telling the story of the end times, we're all light workers, and all Twin Flames are light workers, but not every light worker has their Twin Flame here incarnate. There are so many of us, and I've said this many times, that humanity, the experience is going in spirals. Everybody here on watching this video, you'll understand that. And on that spiral, see, all of us that are light workers, we're operating in fifth dimensional frequencies and levels of consciousness, or even above. And some of us go way above. But everybody that's on that fifth dimensional spiral, it's one single loop like that, one single loop. And within that loop, you'll have little waves like whirlpools, or, you know, yeah, basically you can see it like whirlpool. You've got the larger spiral with a little whirlpool and a little whirlpool and a little whirlpool. And within those whirlpools are individuals of us having similar experiences. And when we're channeling our messages, or we're bringing forth information, or we're having our life experiences, we'll find everybody within that whirlpool on the big circle, fifth dimensional circle, little whirlpool of people having similar experiences. We're all having the similar experiences within those whirlpools. And although we might be friends with each other, we may not be connecting with each other and say, hey, what are you wearing today? I'm going to wear the same thing. So we look like each other, like Bobsy twins. But we're bringing forth similar information like that, because the information comes to the consciousness grid, which is around the planet, and it's dispersed out for anybody that is attuned on that frequency to pick up the message from the consciousness grid. And as we get it, we tell the world what's going on, we find that there's similar messages. It's just like many times from my archangelic self, my Archangel Michael self, I bring forth a message, and then Rona Herman, who's been channeling Michael since 1992, the very next day she'll publish exactly the same messages I've said. It might be different words, but it's almost like a perfect reflection, but spoken from two different people. And that's what we're doing. We're picking up information from the consciousness grid to bring it forth through to humanity. And we do the same thing with Akash. We do the same thing with so many different things. It's like Tesla and Marconi working on the radio, one in the United States, Tesla being in the United States and Marconi being in Europe, and they are not connected but doing the exact same thing at the same time. And that's really how it works. The consciousness grid really had been broken down, destroyed at the fall of Atlantis. And after we had the harmonic convergence in 1987 and we were opening the 1111 doorway in 1992, what we were doing was we were recreating the consciousness grid around this planet. In that consciousness grid, I saw, we opened the door to the 1111. We opened the 1111 doorway January 11th, 1992, and early that March, I was in Yazoo, Mississippi with several friends of mine, and we were out hunting, and that night, everybody was around the campfire, and they had gone to sleep, and I could not sleep. I was still energized for about 6 weeks there from my new activations from having opened the 1111 doorway. And so I was out watching the stars and doing meditations as all my friends who could never understand what I'm telling you guys were asleep in their sleeping bags. And I was looking at the stars and watching as these bands of lights that looked like little counter-rotate, like there were two of them, like it was going this way, like a counter-rotating helix of light, and there'd be one here, and then about several miles over there'd be another one there, and several miles over there'd be another one there, and the same thing this way. So they were paralleling each other through the sky, and in opposition like that, they had others that were woven in. Same thing. You had tubes of light going this way every so many miles, and tubes of light this way going every so many miles. And between them, it looked like big squares. So it was forming a giant grid pattern. Well, that was all of those of us that had participated in opening the 1111 doorway, and our light, as it's coming through our intercorona, through our physical bodies into ground, goes back out and connects to that grid. And we, the humans that opened the 1111 doorway, rebuilt the consciousness grid around this planet. And it is that particular grid that we connect to get our messages and downloads now. That is how Team Dark could never stop us in these end times, because we did not have leaders and were having to use the telecommunications like the internet and stuff like telephones, which they were monitoring all that stuff. We used the consciousness grid. We used the consciousness grid. That was so key to how we have defeated Team Dark. That cannot be understated how huge that was, and is, and will continue to be. But so anyway, we've got the grid right there, and many of us are downloading our information into the grid or receiving that information from the grid. It's like our higher selves are bringing information down and programming it into the grid, which is just like the great central sun sending out a wave, and it's stepped down at Sirius, and then it's stepped down at Alcyon, and then it comes to our sun, and it's again stepped down to come to us. which we can receive and understand that encoding, that information that's coming from heaven, from the center of the Milky Way galaxy, how it steps down so we can use it. Well, our higher self is doing the same thing with the consciousness grid around the planet. Well, the twin flames are also part of that consciousness grid. As they're waking up, they're programming into that. And so we're not only connected through our chakras, like my heart chakra is connected to my twin flame, which last week I did some clearing and said, you know, if she's not going to come out into the open, that, you know, I'm cutting that around me. I love her so dearly. But if she is not going to participate, then I've got to move on. And so many other people heard my last video to Moira discussing that it's time. I mean, it's got to be done now. And I'm not trying to hurt anybody by cutting these cords, but I've got to be sovereign within my own state of being. I've got to hold my light. I cannot be bleeding out my light to another person that is choosing to remain in the shadows and not be in an honor and integrity and truth and above board, open and all for the public to see. That's how you get this light. You cannot get this light any other way. And the light workers know that, but many of our twin flames, the divine masculine, does not. Everyone that participated in this take back of Earth, of planet Earth from Team Dark, was holding divine feminine energies. I hold divine feminine energies, although I am a very masculine warrior and will kill you if you fuck with me. But we don't need any of that stuff anymore. But that is my history, and some things I do very well. But our twin flames, the divine masculine, is not able to, they're not open to connect to that grid. So right now they're still working off of us through the chakra system. And with that, any of the light that we have, they're just taking it like sucking, like an umbilical cord, like a baby with an umbilical cord. They take whatever they need. Well, this past weekend, after I'd been to the Council of Elohim, and the High Council said that we can start shrinking and dissolving the cords to our twin flames. And we've got to do that so they will start holding their own light, and they can really, really comprehend that what we have been doing and start stepping up to the plate and doing it themselves. Well, I heard many other people, like I had done, removing that twin flame cording. It was supposed to shrink and shrink and shrink until the end of this year. Well, my twin flame, she knows what's going on. She's got a lot of light herself. Her problem is she wants 1313. That's a good one for her. 1313. She's got a lot of her own light. She's an incredibly wonderful, powerful, loving person, but she plays in the shadows. She's still in her head having that balance from way out here rather than being in her heart, where you can't, there's not too much things you got to do to balance when you're here in your heart. You see, you got it. She's in her head, she's out here. and so in order, it's almost like a tough love thing. It's like a shit or get off the pot. So all of the light through that cording, if she is not going to make a decision and come forth publicly, I mean, in the here and now, we're wasting time. I mean, we have taken care of Team Dark. There's nothing more we can do. The military has got to take its course. Donald Trump's got to take its course. The judicial system's got to take its course. Well, there's not much more that us light workers can do with that other than sending it to light and continually lighting up the players of Team Dark and exposing them for all to see. And then Anonymous goes in like little rugrats, and we're going to expose this, and then their life is open in the public, and they're in trouble. And that's how this has worked. So it's that same thing with our twin flames. Many of them have wanted just to stay in the shadows and not come out front and center, because the things that, just like I say here, and the things that all of us say, it seems so crazy to anybody that's in their mental brain game. 1515, Moira. 1115. Anybody in their brain game is going to think this is all crazy, or they're going to have fear for their stepping up to the plate and being open and honest and truthful and speaking out like I'm doing right here. That could cause a lot of issues for a lot of people that are in society, because society would start looking at you like you're nuts. Well, I've had lifetimes of that. And so, you know, my thing with other people is get over it, you know, quit being a little peon, you know. We got a mission to do here. Let's get on it. And I'm a soldier, you know. I'm one of Archangel Michael's legions, man. I cannot not do my mission. My twin flame, on the other hand, she has and can. Do we have to be together in mission? No, not at all. Do we have to be married and have kids? No. We can have other relationships. The thing is we need to be able to consciously in the 3D communicate. And that's where I've had an issue for so long, which I couldn't communicate because of what was going on with my mission and Team Dark. And ever since the end of 2018, I can now communicate again. And so she still has not gotten in touch, and I'm not going to, I brought her some presents and everything, but I'm not, no, it's got to be up to her to make the contact and to say that she's either willing or not willing to step out. And I'm kind of waiting on that, because I can't move on, because we're supposed to be together. We don't have to be together, and she doesn't have to do her mission. It's a free will world. But for us to hold more and more light in our physicality, which is the key to the game, doing it while we're in body on earth, how much light and frequency can you hold? How much ascension can you go to while you're in this 3D? That shows you the mastery of the game right there. You know, people waiting to drop body and, oh, I'll do it after I'm dead. I'm going to play here on earth. Well, they're sidestepping their mission. You've actually got to hold focus on that mission in the here and now, even if it kills your ass, even if it's torturous and you're enslaved. I mean, if you don't do it in the here and now, I mean, what's the point, you know? I mean, this is the experience in the now. This is the density. This is the density we must change as light workers. I know my twin flame's a light worker too. She might not recognize it, but she is. And so, anyway, there's this whole thing going on with the twin flames, where the Divine Feminine, over these past 10 years, have done our work heavily, and some of us a lot longer than that. And the Divine Masculines couldn't comprehend what was going on. And we had to continue on without them, because we cannot not do our work. I mean, there's times where Spirit is just gonna, I mean, if you don't do your mission, you're gonna live a life of hell. I mean, everything's gonna be chaotic. You're gonna still be in your karmics. You're still gonna be in stresses because you can't get enough money, because you're trying to follow a 3D brain rather than what your heart, spirit, soul is telling you to do. And that's a personal choice. You want to live in heaven? You want to live in hell? It's a personal choice. I can't make anybody live in heaven. Only them can switch out of the hell of the duality, the brain game, into their heart, to try to operate off of the energies that you feel, rather than the logic that you've been taught is the intellect and the way things work. Well, that's what creates the hell right there. You know, a lot of people just don't get that. And those of us that have been around for the past 10 years, we do. And that's how I mean, when you really get it, then you can be a master wizard, master magician, whatever. You can be you are the Christed individual. creating as you're supposed to create, because we're all creator gods and you're supposed to create, but you're supposed to consciously create on earth. Everybody's creating, even the guys that are in their brain game. The hell that they're creating is their creation. And that's why, yeah, I have compassion for them, but you know, you created it. This is what you love. So when you want to love something else, then you're going to change what you're doing, which will cause an effect in your outside experience. Get it? I mean, it's a personal choice to live in heaven or hell. Well, this twin flame journey, I had never really looked at before, and that's because I had a mission, and you know, it's like being in a war and in a battle, and when you got rockets blazing and gunfire and bullets whizzing past you and somebody trying to stab you or bayonet you and things blowing up everywhere, the last thing I want is the love of my life right next to me, right? That could get me killed. And so I had to turn away from mine, and many of the other divine feminines had to turn away from their masculine while we did this past 10 years, since 2009, and take back of the planet. And there was divine contracts made for us in the twin flames. 2112, that was pretty cool. Again, reflections, twin flame. There were divine contracts for the twin flames that were made prior to our having our duality experience. I remember splitting with my twin flame very vividly, and I know, Moira, you're going to be watching this video. Do a meditation to where you and I first came about, and you'll see us as a ribbon of light. You on one side, me on the other, and we're connected at the base. And I was flowing, looking back at your face. Remember how we'd make love, and afterwards I could sit in bed, and it was like a Rolodex of all the faces that you've been over and over. I used to tell you that all the time. Well, that's all the life experiences that you and I have had together since we, in that ribbon of light, ripped apart, which was so incredibly painful. And I was shown that when I went to read the Akash at midnight on December 31st in 2009. And I've questioned that over and over and over since, and it's the same thing. So there is no question about my twin flame. I knew it, and I wrote it to her about her being my reflection from 2005 to when we last were together in 2009. And so I knew all about the connection before I even heard all the stories, and I never really paid attention until January of 2019. And as I'm doing my investigations, I'm seeing that we are having the same story throughout the twin flame community, and it's like being in one big spiral, and we've got all those little spirals, each one of those little spirals, and some of them are big spirals within those little ones. We're having similar experiences. And the messages, I'm watching many of the twin flames who know, like I know, who their counterpart is, and many of them are tarot readers. Many of them are channelers. There's many different ways to bring forth the messages. Some use tools, and some, like me, I don't use tools. I receive my information direct. And the messages are pretty much the same, and it's interesting to watch those given tarot card readings. And you know, there's 100 people out there that are twin flames given tarot card readings, and they're all over the planet. They're completely separated from each other, and when they use similar decks, they have the same cards are pulling up when they ask the same questions over and over and over. And I am just absolutely blown away as to how this is going down. I'm really more interested in this twin flame event that's going on down globally than I am in reconnecting with my twin flame. I mean, this is like, as when I was a kid and televisions first became available to everybody, which, you know, that kind of dates me now, huh? 2511, as I look down. When I was a kid and my grandfather would go out to the fields, and he was running the big farm. He had a plantation, had sharecroppers on it and everything. And my grandmother would always come in and watch the soap operas while she's shelling peas or cooking dinner or whatever. And As the World Turns was one of the big ones. And this whole global Lightworker event that's going down is better than any soap opera like that you could ever imagine. I'm just dumbfounded as to what we're witnessing, because 100 card readers are getting the exact same cards, the exact same message, telling the exact same story about the exact same thing at the exact same time globally. And I'm like, wow, because they're all connected to the consciousness grid. This goes back to Tesla Marconi, goes back to the consciousness grid that we built as we opened the 1111 doorway, part of our restoration of the planet. And within these messages, they're telling the same stories. And some people might have a 25 card reading for the Divine Masculine and a 25 card reading for the Divine Feminine, and then the mutual energies between, and you can have literally dozens of readers and they're all telling the same story. And and they all know about our divine contracts. They all know about the missions that the twin flames are supposed to come here to do. But that so many of the divine masculines are yeah, they're waking up to what we've been saying for so long, but that they are going through the same things, just like all the divine feminines, knowing it's time, we've got to take back this planet. I send out that message for, you know, the first 40 days, and then I've got 5,000 people minimum that friend me on Facebook within a month that are all part of that. It's like the divine masculines are doing something similar right now on planet 2, and they're waking up. Wow, wow, wow. To watch what's going on is more amazing than my own personal story, just wanting my love to come back in my life. To watch what's going on with all these other light workers that are messaging me, and some want to maintain that courting until their twin flame comes back. Mine, well, I got my best friend saying he's wanting to come back. He's not wanting, he's going to, and I'm going to be the father. I know that's probably scaring the piss out of my twin flame, who I have had no contact in 10 years with, and saying we've got to come back for contact. And I'm saying a story like this. Do you know how that would freak somebody out? I get it. I totally get it. What a hoot. But wow. And sorry, boy, you don't have to be the mom. It'd be wonderful if you were, but it's all about the frequency and the vibration. It's not necessarily about the individual. So, you know, another divine feminine that's in female form, not me, but you know, the contract between us could be broken, and will be if you don't come forth before the end of this year. So that can happen with another. And I'm being told that there's 2 coming through. So gotta be prepared, Moira. What a freaking trip this is. It's just like me going, no, I don't want to write the first half of the Great Tribulation. I don't want to put that to the public. I don't want to get out there. They're going to kill me. Yeah, I can laugh about that now because that part's over, but we're into this new part of, okay, we're a new earth, and I'm supposed to be telling this part of the story, and it sounds just as crazy as that part of the story. And what a trip. So, a lot of twin flames are going through this experience right now of their counterparts just now waking up and being just as shadow. And the stories of how they broke up, it's very similar. It's just like mine. There was other partners, third-party situations, and some fourth-party situations, but mine's a fourth-party situation with only one other. There's 3 other guys and 1 girl. That was a little bizarre, but anyway, I still love her. I mean, I hold no problem with any of that. Just let's get on with whatever we're getting on with here is all I ask. So let's make contact and either resolve the issue and move on, or resolve the issue and continue on together. So either way, that's up to Moira. But she's going to be dissolving the contract herself by the end of this year if she doesn't participate very, very soon. And I've already, because of her light, I was able to remove the cording that was bleeding me out so that we could be corded from up and over through the soul and back down this way instead of this way, from above rather than linearly. And then that way I'm not bleeding out my light, because it's just like this glass. If I take a glass and if I take a punch and I poke a hole in it, just like in my art field, just like I was corded to Moira through here, then all that bleeds out. But when you're corded and it's above, from here above, like this, then you don't bleed out. See? So I can't undo what all the divine did, but because the Elohim higher levels of self allowed me to cut the linear cording, I did that this past weekend, and I know she felt it. She can feel me. She actually proved to me that my focus on my thought and intent actually worked, because she was so open to receive it while we were together that she was my proof of all of my light work that I've been doing all my life is a reality. And because she could feel it, she proved it to me, and then that way I could go on with my mission. Well, now it's time for her to be as light as I am, to be as whole and complete in her divine masculine and feminine. And that's the same with it. My story is no different from any others. It's time for all the divine masculines to do that, to quit this, playing around as the little ego selves we perceive ourselves as. It's like me going around and operating as Bill Ballard. If I want to take back the planet, I got to operate as my Archangel Michael self. See? And Metatron is not about that. Metatron is about the go out and have the experience, in which time come back in through Metatron back to Prime Creator. Well, it's those Prime Creator energies that I hold within my physical vessel and channel into the earth. In fact, I'm not even in Michael energies much anymore, because we are in New Earth. Michael energies was about the battling of Team Dark, the Luciferians, and we're in New Earth. I'm holding the singularity of Prime Creator. Well, granted, Metatron created everything, but Prime Creator, I've been able to go through and hold and channel those energies in, and it's a much higher, finer frequency that's not that oscillation of the duality, plurality. And I can see from levels now, levels that I'm not supposed to tell people how this reality works. It's just like talking about Lucifer and Michael, and I twice had my messages on these videos erased when I gave the messages, and then I went to Claudia 3 times on her machines. They erased 2. There's some things I'm not supposed to tell people, and so I'll let those guys take care of that. I'm just going to flow freely and speak And if it's not supposed to be known to the public, it's 34, 43. It's not supposed to be known to the public, then it'll be taken care of and dissolved just like that. Anyway, the twin flames, the divine masculine is supposed to basically come back either working with the divine feminine and through the vibration and frequency and love that they hold, which is so magnificently magical that it, you know, that's why it scares our twin flames, because it is such powerful energy. I mean, like no other love you could know. And I've been with hundreds and hundreds of women this lifetime, both playing around in sacred sex and with light workers, it's always been sacred ritual sex before, in ceremonial sex. And I've had a lot of really good relationships with people who I've been absolutely in love with, but there is nothing like a twin flame connection. I mean, that is 1,000,000 times more powerful than any karmic connection. Because anything that's outside of twin flame is karmic. That's period. That's just how it is. The twin flames are forever. The twin flames came in, my twin flame and I separated. That wasn't at Earth. That was when we first entered duality, when we separated from the light being self, from our Arcturian self. Our Arcturian self is singular. It's hydrogenous. There's only one sex there. It's no duality. But it's when we descend into the materiality that you've got to have the opposite polarities. You've got to choose one side or the other. It's no more hydrogenous. It is polarity. And what's going on right now with the twin flames is we are becoming both the divine masculine and divine feminine within the singularity of self, and my twin flame is also supposed to do that. And that way, when we come together as two whole beings and not as codependent. I need a wife that's going to wash my clothes or take care of the house or have kids for me or anything like that. We're becoming whole and complete so that we can both do the masculine and feminine things. It depends on, and we don't even have to be together. You're not in need of someone else. If persons who know my life knows I've been very much a hermit for these past 10 years, other than when I come together with people for ceremony or for just needing that time to re-up. And even then, at sunset, I'm in my tent, in my area, in my woods, away from everybody else, so I can do my light work, so I can receive and send messages and do my frequency and be clear to hear. And that's so critical. I don't think that my twin would understand that would have to continue, because that is me. That's how I operate now. And so even in a relationship scenario, it's not that I don't love or want to be in bed or holding on, but I'm not dependent on anybody else. What I'm dependent on is me, my space, my channel, my focus, my light, my field, my understanding, my connection, uninterrupted, unabated by anybody else. Where my messages are absolutely clear. It's one of the problems with being around so many other people is you are picking up on everybody else's field as they interact with your field, and when they do, when you're trying to send out a message or you're sending out to receive, because it's just like this computer right here, you're sending out a data pack to the grid or to your higher self, and you're wanting that information to come back, just like typing out an address of www dot whatever, and you want all that packet of information coming back for whatever it is you're working on, whatever it is you're doing. And when you're around other people, a lot of times those messages end up getting a bunch of gobbledygook because they're so chaotic. They're so in their system interferes with you. So we remove ourselves from all the cellular towers, from Wi-Fi devices, from televisions and telephones and smart meters and any electromagnetic radiation frequencies. And that's why Tahoe's so special, because we don't have any of that there. And so I do that, go up there to build my ashram and go underground for my meditation chamber, and I'm totally separate from any waves. I can get a pure signal coming in. Well, that's what you want. You want a pure signal. So for years and years and years, so many of us have had to go off and alone to get our pure signals, and we're still doing that. I still will continue doing that. I can't until everybody that's on this planet is holding the highest of frequencies and in their integrity, and there's no negativity, there's no resistance. The resistance in their fields that keeps the electrical transmissions, electromagnetic transmissions, message transmissions from coming through properly. Until everybody is up at that point, then I see myself having to keep removing myself from being around others, even though it might be my twin flame, might be, my family. I mean, even my family, they, even here at home, I still, at sunset, I go hide. I go to my room and I do my thing. And typically I only sleep about 2 hours, 3 hours a night anymore. I wake up and I'm just like I am now. And I might have 1 or 2 cups of coffee, and that's really just to clear my head. But I'm already feeling the frequencies of my higher self inhabiting this body. And the whole thing is how much of your higher self can you get into this body? And what level of it? That's like the Nacra on the pearl. What level of higher self? The core, Bill Ballard, and then Manara, angelic being, Archangel Michael, and see, it goes out like that. And it's those levels of fields, and I am spherical because of my work. You don't start out spherical. You start out with a heart chakra going vertical, and that heart chakra activates, which creates the electromagnetic field, and you've done it not only because you feel the bliss when that happens, 4242, but that electromagnetic field, when you are breathing air in and there's moisture in the air, that moisture, which is a conductor, just like an electrical conductor, just like water. Water can shock you. Lightning, if you're in the water, will kill you deader than hell if that lightning strikes next to you. It's because water's a great conductor. Well, as that breath and that moisture, the water that's in the air comes through my electrical field, my magnetic field, I can taste the light. For 10 years now, I've talked about tasting the light. That's what I mean. When the chakras activate, then once the heart chakra activates, then your throat and your solar plexus will activate simultaneously. For not everybody. I mean, it's going to be different for everybody, but this is how I did it. My heart chakra activated because of my love of my divine counterpart, and because of me focusing on that heart, moving out of here, focusing on the love there after I hit Shakti. And I held that focus for 20 days, and my heart chakra activated. And then I had to hold that focus for another 20 days before it anchored, became a permanent state of being. 40 days. And then the throat chakra and the solar plexus activate, the third eye and the sacral, the crown and the root. And then you're in your full power. Well, even then, you're just a baby ascended master. Just a baby. And then those chakras expand, and they'll expand 7 times. The 7 chakras, boom, 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 go 7 times out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, till it's outside of your physical vessel out here. And when they have expanded to the outside of your physical vessel, but they're still going 90 degrees to your antiprana, your life cord coming through, once you hit that next point, it's your ascension column. Boom! And this whole column of light comes up around your body. Like you see archangels or angels within. And that's your 7th initiation. Your 8th initiation is when all these chakras that's on the outside of your body, just you've got chakras completely surrounding your body. When they light up and you turn into a big sphere and you turn into the star that you are, you're going galactic. You can start communicating with all the ETs and everything else. You're not just communicating on an angelic or archangelic level. You're playing with councils of this galaxy and starting to get ready to play with Metatron. And so a few more initiations after that before you can fully embody the frequencies of Metatron. And then several more initiations after that before you can fully embody the frequencies permanently of Prime Creator. And that's where I am now. After that, it's just a constant expansion of light. You're just becoming a bigger and bigger star. And anyway, the Twin Flames, they're going to be doing the same things. And the more my Twin Flame would light up, if we could have communication, then she would go through her process much more quickly. And that's really what's supposed to be happening on the planet, is now that we of the Divine Feminine have gone through our process, we've got to bring the Divine Masculines through. And when it's just like those of us that participate in the 40-day focus to create New Earth or something like that, you've got one person with their power, and they've got their power, and their power is very strong. But when you put 2 people with that power, you're pyramiding it geometrically. You're amplifying the power of the 2 geometrically. When we have 144,000 of us coming together to do that, it's like having the power of a single individual multiplied by millions of times, because we've all come in with our power focused on the same thought. And that's how we have changed this planet. That's how we've done what we've done. That's how we've created New Earth. We did it. But now it's time for the Divine Masculines to come up and through, and preferably with the Divine Feminines. But not all Divine Masculines are going to step up to the plate. A lot of them are too focused in their ego and what's going on in their 3D life, in their lower states of being. And to turn down your contract, they're only creating the hell for themselves. And you just got to love them, and you can't bring them into heaven. You can lead that horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And that's the same thing that's going down here. And so for a lot of us, after 10 years, we have been supporting our counterparts, and they haven't been stepping forward and stepping up to the game and participating. And it's not that we love them any less. It's just it's time that they're just denying the divine contract, which it's fine. It's fine. But they're creating their own hell, thinking they're in heaven by denying it. Really, they're creating their own hell. They don't get it. It happens when you're in the love, when you're in the magic, when you're having a life like what I've shown for years and years and years now. That's heaven. The other side of this, all the karmic crap and chaos, is the hell. And so, the divine will let them choose to be in hell. That just means that they're not ready to be in heaven. And, you've got to have gone through hell long enough before you say, I don't want any more hell, I want heaven. So, that's where the choices come in right there. And a lot of them can't see through the mirage, the moirage, to see the heaven. And if they just remembered what it was like when we were together, because that was so freaking magical, then, remember what it was like in the magic that was happening in those high frequencies when the 2 twin flames were together and in love. and to see what your life is like without your twin flame. What's your choice? But see, you know, it's the divine masculines that now they've got to make up their minds. I mean, we're out of time. And it's not that we love you any less. It's we love you just as much as we ever did. But it's time for us to move on. And 50:05. And what is 5? That 5 of swords, 5 of 5's a real transition time. Yeah. Anyway, it's interesting to see now that I'm the whole twin flame scenario is coming to light for me, how what I'm experiencing, it's very common. It's you know, the same story of 70% of all the 144,000. Now, it's something else I was asked as far as does everybody, does all humans have twin flames? And I don't know the answer to that. I don't know whether it's just the Lightworker community. I don't know if it's the original of the 144,000 of us. So I don't know whether it's, I don't know. This is, you know, I haven't explored any of this any more than I'm telling, and I'm really just now being awakened to and made aware of what we're going through collectively at this time. It's a pretty wild situation, and I am just laughing my ass off at it because it's more amusing than any movie. I mean, the story is great. The story that those of us watching this video have experienced in the past 10 years since we've been taking back the planet. Well, that taking back the planet, the Great Awakening, was one thing. But this whole twin flame thing, that's just as important in a different way. I'm just like, wow. I really wish there would be more of us come together that could tell our stories and tell our experiences. I would love for my divine counterpart to tell her experience of the past 10 years openly, wholeheartedly, in all truth, open for everybody to see, which I don't know if she will. Because it is those teachings, just like the Ascension teachings that I was mentioning earlier, that's what's so critical for humanity now. I mean, and we've got to raise the frequency so that individuals could go into their past lives and be able to heal this trauma and the resistance that's within the cellular structure of the bodies. My body has no pain anymore. Persons that have known me, I have had pain all my life from stuff that are brought through from past lives and from all my breaks and crunches and being burned and shot and stabbed and crushed and falling off roofs and out of trees and off mountains. And boy, have I had it rough this life. And I've healed it. There's no more pain. And it's all the resistance. It is the past life trauma. It is all the crap, all the perceptions and the way that we think. It's getting rid of that so I can literally step into the frequencies of Prime Creator, because you can't get in whole Prime Creator energies 5335. All these twin flame numbers today. Look at that. It's you can't heal these bodies and get into the heaven and literally create a body that is going to last for hundreds and hundreds of years. And I know my body will. I'm telling people, I've told them all my life, I can't die. I was sealed Easter Sunday of 1992. I was taken off this planet to the upper room and was before the councils with Michael, and I was sealed. Mark of God was placed on my forehead, and I was told, you can't die. Go on your mission. Do you accept this mission? It's mission impossible. You got to take back the planet. And I said, yeah, I'll do it. And then people heard on Christmas Day in 1992 when it was 40 below zero and I was in the Arctic, going out of Eagle to the backside of Yukon Charlie and 70 Mile, and I should have died. I should have died, but Michael literally picked me up when I just wanted to lay in the snowbank at 40 below zero. That's a long story, and just passed through. And Michael's like, he can't do it. And I was hearing Archangel Michael's voices echoing through the valleys and the peaks as I'm shouting at him, going, "Let me fucking die." He's going, you can't do it. You're not done with the mission yet. And I guess I'm still not done with my mission. And thank goodness, because I was ready to drop body then. And I've done quite a lot since. But my mission, back to what's going on 1,000 years in the future. That I came from 1,000 years in the future to be Bill Ballard again this lifetime. In 1999, the first time around, those of us who were part of harmonic convergence and open 1111 doorway, we ascended out of here, and we got to 1,000 years in the future, and our twin flames weren't there, and Team Dark had taken over the planet and killed everybody, and it had enslaved the humanity, and we had to come back. I know how crazy that sounds, 55-55. I know exactly how crazy that sounds, but that's the truth. It's fact, Jack. And that's why I remembered the future this whole lifetime until 1999, and that's why 9/11/2001 freaked the hell out of me, because I was like, here it's going down. I had the memories as a child this lifetime of what would happen if I did not do my mission. And at this point in time, in 2019, a vast majority of this planetary population would be annihilated, eliminated by now. You'd be dead if we, the Divine Feminine, didn't come back and take back this planet. It's not a patriot thing. The patriots are secondary to the spiritual. First, the spiritual world occurs. This bird came up to the window, so they're flying, looking in at me. Cool, right there. If it wasn't for the spiritual first, the patriots would have never happened. And I just made a post on my my Facebook. Claudia Moreno dug me up as John Ballard in the Revolutionary War. I had the tavern where the patriots were in Boston, and I mentioned a lot of my first battle experience in my last video, and watching my men drop around me, and how I started going around and killing all the generals and the officers off their horses so that all their armies would run around like a chicken with their head cut off. And I basically created what is later known to be Rogers Rangers, doing the same thing, the special operations, special forces, guerrilla tactics that is done on this planet now. We were told to be cowards then, but we were few and they were many. And they were annihilating us, and they called us cowards for, you won't stand up, let us shoot you. Okay, motherfuckers, we'll kill your ass. So anyway, I was John Ballard, and Claudia found a lot of my information from then, and she posted it to me, and I'll put a link to that under this video in the video description. And that's who I was, who I have been, and I've done it for a long time. I'm waiting for everybody else to wake up and come participate too. I'm tired of being, besides my entourage of Divine Feminine, it's about time those Divine Masculines really put their big boy pants on and step up to the plate. Anyway, it's a beautiful world that we're stepping into, people. We've come through a very dark time since the Rhine Wars, and it's over. It's over. Where the duality experiment is finishing, and now we're going into singularity, and singularity is within self. It's within ourselves. It's not an in there, out there anymore. It's time that we all have the direct messages as individuals, but direct messages from self. That's where the duality is ending. It's with self. You are the all that is. I am that I am. I am the all that is. So with that, it'll help. That might help you to better understand. Anyway, love you all. Bye for now.